Hello everyone, Dokiller here, and welcome to another Minecraft Dalek Mod video. Today we are in Minecraft 1.12.2 to discuss something that a lot of you have been asking me about for quite some time now, and that is the image loader item in the Dalek Mod. So this is an item that has been in the mod for quite some time now, and I had honestly thought that a lot of people already knew what this item was, what it was for, how to use it, and everything else. But then people kept asking me how to use it, so I figured why not make a video explaining to everybody who might not know how it's done, how to use this item, its purpose, and what it is for. Alright, so I am back in one of the older 1.8 TARDISes to show this off because this is actually like a TARDIS I used to have in 1.8 where I would take this image loader block and I would just spam a bunch of these things all over the place. So I'm just doing a little homage to that in this video, and if you watch my older videos, you can see me use the image loader block extensively in the background of some of them. So what the mod used to have after some time is an entire tab that was specifically for the image loader block. And it was a bunch of different items of the image loader block, and every single picture that you could load with it was in this tab. Now this has since been removed, and it has been moved to the miscellaneous tag. And a lot of people now don't really know how it works anymore. So I'm going to use pick block on one of these, and if we do that, we will see that this gets a different name. Now this is the original name when the item was first added into the mod, image loader, and in parentheses rename to work, and that actually gives you a hint as to how this item is actually supposed to be used. So if you take this straight out of the inventory, you have the ordinary image loader block, and you try to place it, you'll find that you will get nothing but an untextured block that gets placed down, mostly transparent, with just a very thin area of a textureless detail on one side, on the side that you put it on. And other than that, you might not really understand how it works. Now it says rename to work, but if you don't know what to rename it to, every time you place it down, you are just going to get this exact same result, an untextured image. So most importantly is, what are these names that we can rename the block to actually get some of the images that you can see around me? As I said, it used to be in the past that these are already in the creative inventory, but since they've been removed, another resource has to be used in order to figure this out. So all these images are actually uploaded onto an SWD team server online, and they're used to then load inside of your game to create these images. That's how the image loader works. So you can actually access this resource by going to the following site. Now I've gone through some of the Dalek Mod forums to try to dig up the old URL that you can look at to see the names of all of these, and I fiddled around the site a bit and actually found a pretty interesting resource that I will link to in the description below. So let's head to that now. Alright, so here we are on this page. As we can see, it is at api.swdteam.com/dm/view-imagelist.php. So I'm not entirely sure as to the purpose of this site or anything, but this is related to the links that I found on some of the older forum posts on the SWD site. But this is the most convenient thing that I found, because not only does it tell you what the image name is, but it shows you a picture of what that image is going to look like. So you can actually preview what you want to set down, and if you name it this item, this is the picture that it will show you in-game. So this is a very, very good resource to use. This is extremely helpful. Like, some people noticed I had the Illuminati eye in the background of my older TARDISes, and that's how you can get it here. This is the image, and this is the name. Now, I am not entirely sure when the last time this was updated. I don't know if the SWD team might have upgraded to another site that mirrors this page, but might have some additional pictures or names on it. I'm not entirely sure about that, and I'm not sure when the last time this was updated, so there may be additional things, and I only say that because the most recent update video had some Easter eggs in the background that made me think maybe there's more images here than that are showed on this list. But this is the only thing I could find, and this is the most updated list that I could find. This is more updated, I believe, than the last time the images were set out or laid out into the creative tab. So how we use the image loader block is extremely simple and straightforward now that we have this resource. So I'm going to go down here, and here I have set up an anvil. So right-clicking on this, all we do is put the image loader in here, and then we just rename it in order to get an image. So let's head back over to our resource and see what kind of image would we like to use. Let's just get this picture of Mr. Cedric. So this is just Mr. Cedric, capital M, capital C. This has to be case specific. So I'm going to type this in here. We're going to rename it to that. And now when we set the block down, we should get a picture of Mr. Cedric. Let's take a look here. Oh, and there it is, and it is gigantic. So, as you can see, the image loader actually expands to the size of the image as laid out on the site. And there, as far as I can tell, there is absolutely no limit to the size of the image. There are some absolutely gigantic ones. So you can use these as decoration, mostly just posters to put into the background of your world. Let's just take a look at another one just for fun. Going back on here, we have, I don't know, the Minecraft sunglasses. That's always a fun one. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to rename this to glasses. And that should be able to load our image of the Minecraft sunglasses. And there they are. I wonder if we can actually arrange this to make it look like Cedric is wearing the sunglasses. Nope, that doesn't quite look right. Anyway, as you can see, the image loader, again, purely a decorative block, just for kind of putting down little posters or things like that. And now that you have that resource, it should be fairly simple and straightforward to use. But when I was making this video, I actually found a few more things that you can do with this that I was not aware of before. So first and foremost, if you do use pick block, whether you just use regular pick block or you try to pick the block with the NBT structure, you're just going to get the rename to work version in the name here. But let's see what happens if we actually do rename that block that we grabbed with pick block. So again, I am just going to grab something at random. Let's go with the dash star. And let's just go over here and set that down. And as you can see, it did not rename the block, or rather, it did not place the block down with that proper image. I do not know why this does not work when you just grab something with pick block, but you actually have to take it straight out of the inventory. Now, for some reason, what's happening here is a certain NBT tag is not updating in the block. So I'm going to fly over here, and I'm going to use the block data command on this specific image loader. I'm going to use tilde, and I'm going to leave the curly brackets empty, and this will give us the NBT structure of the image loader block. So what we can see in here is that there is actually a tag called image name, img_name, and this is actually what we named that image when we placed it down. So if we go back up here, for instance, to the Minecraft glasses, and we run our block data command, we will see that the image name is glasses, which is what we just renamed that block to in order to get it to place down the image. Now with this kind of knowledge, we can actually do something like what I have set up over here. And we can actually use command blocks to alter the image of the image loader, simply using the block data command. So as you can see, my computer is lagging for catching pine, which is why that freezes. But for the most part, this works pretty smoothly. We have all the Vote John posters being transitioned through right now. And I am actually going to fly outside and show you how I am doing that. So up here, I just have a very simple redstone clock that is running on a loop. And at each stage of this clock is attached a command block. Inside this command block is our block data command. And it is changing the image name to a different image that we can load with the image loader based on this site. So here are all the Vote John posters, and I am actually cycling through all of them. And since I had 6 stages, I think I chose an additional one out of here. But as you can see, we just go through the Vote John USA 2, 3, and 4. And that's what we're using in the image name tag inside of these command blocks. And we are just cycling through them in order. And that places the block in the exact same location. And it just changes that tag, which therefore changes the image of the block. And that is how we get this little animation of these blocks changing. Now you can slow that clock down, you can do whatever you want with the command blocks, and you can actually alter the images of the block however you want with any of the images that we have shown. Just keep in mind, obviously, the sizes are going to be different depending on the image that you use. The nice thing about these is that they are all roughly the same size except for that one, but they transition through pretty cleanly, and it's just by updating that block data tag. So another thing that we can do with this is what you can see right here, and this is the most interesting one of them all, and I don't fully understand it yet. But as you can see, this is cycling through the image of one of these Vote John posters. Now I'm going to go back through the block data command, and I'm going to change one tag in here. That is a tag called isMovie. I'm going to set that to 0B, hit enter. As you can see, we have one of the regular Vote John posters again. So what this actually does is if we run this tag again, and this time set it to true, as it was before, if I can get in the right block location, there we go, it shrinks it back down to the one block size, 16 by 16 pixels, and then just kind of cycles through a patch of the poster over and over again on a loop. Now, I don't quite follow this. I'm not entirely seeing if there's a pattern. It looks like it kind of moves left to right, maybe, at some points in time, and other ways in different points. I don't know entirely what's going on, but it kind of animates the image, and it does look kind of weird. And so again, if we change the image ID of this with the block data tag, or the image name, let's set it to something larger. Let's set it to this DLK Scaro image. And when you're using this tag image name, you have to put the name of the image in quotes as well. That's something I should highlight. And I'm going to do that, and as you can see, now we are cycling through a different image in a similar manner. And if we just go ahead again and change that isMovie tag back to 0, there we go, we have the full-size image again, which is taken from Doctor Who of the Daleks flying around on Scaro. So I'm not entirely sure again what this tag is for, what its purpose is, but that is how it is used, and it just kind of cycles through certain bits of the image, almost at random. One more thing I want to say is, when I was messing around with things in this data tag, I did wind up crashing my game once, and that is because I set a value on here to something that was completely wrong. I think it was these dimension Y, dimension X values, and it wound up crashing the game because it was unable to render the block, and I had to externally delete the block from my world using different software, so I almost lost my world save. So I want to say to be careful when you're fiddling around with stuff on here. It's happened to me before, but you can wind up causing the block to crash your entire game if you get things wrong. But for the most part, those data tags that I showed you should be safe to use, and it's just used for renaming the block in commands and for accessing this weird feature, which again, I don't fully understand yet. I am also noticing this FPS tag, but I'm not sure if that does anything. I'm going to change it there to 10. And yeah, it looks like we might be going a bit faster through that. Let's change it down to 1. There we go. And now we are moving slower. So looks like that can alter the speed through which we cycle through those little pieces of the image. Let me rename this back down to one of the other names here, just so that we have a better picture to look at. Let's do the Mr. Cedric image again. There we go. So this is the Mr. Cedric picture, and as you can see, we're now cycling through it a bit more slowly. Still, it's a large image, and we're not really getting anywhere. Let me try to speed that up a bit. Yeah, there we go. That's a bit faster. And now that we're going slower, it does indeed look like we might just be moving across left to right and then right to left again, or something like that. And again, I'm not entirely sure what the purpose of this feature is. I said that about 4 times now, but if we put it on 0, I'm just experimenting again, it looks like we capture it at a specific frame. So that's some interesting stuff. You guys can play around with that yourself. There we go. I think I advanced the frame on it. That is interesting. Yeah, that is changing the frame that this picture is taking it from. So we're looking at different tiny sections of this picture, and we're freezing it there. So maybe you can run this in commands as well. There might be some interesting stuff that you can do with this. It's not like we can see a lot of it anyway. Yeah, I just think this is very interesting. Let me advance that frame rate again. There we go. Now we can make it go really fast. But yeah, it's just kind of an interesting animation. I imagine maybe you could put a bunch of these up and make a collage of chaotic moving pictures or something. Again, not entirely sure why that feature's there. That's just me playing around with it a little bit. Looks like we can use the FPS tag to move that image back and forth a little bit faster, and the movie frame tag to pause it at an individual frame, although I'm not entirely sure how those are ranked or numbered or anything on the image. But most importantly, that is how you use the image loader block, how you rename an image, and how you can use it with commands and actually change the image with a command block using the simple block data command. So that's all I wanted to do for this tutorial, was just to explain that. A lot of people were asking me about it and didn't seem to know how it worked, so I thought I'd give a quick tutorial explaining the purpose of this block and how you can find the names for this block that you can actually use to get the different images from the image loader. Alright guys, so I hope you found this video helpful, and as always, thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, please leave a like. That helps YouTube know that you like seeing this kind of content. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video. So goodbye for now, everybody.